Welcome everyone to the Rival Pitches Finale. Every other week on the Written By podcast, Robert Therrell and Chase Bridges go head to head with movie pitches, and the audience picks the winner. The competition has been head to head this season, and they are going into the finale with a tie. This one is for all the marbles. Tonight, Robert and Chase will both be pitching their movies with complete pitch decks and a proof of concept trailer. The judges will act as studio heads and score the pitches on the criteria of concept, story, characters, commercial appeal, likelihood to watch, and trailer. Make sure you stick around to the end to see who gets crowned this season's Written By Champion.
Hello, studio heads.
Hello.
Allen, Shama, PD. How y'all doing?
I'm just doing great. We're about to be doing better once we hear your pitch.
All right, great. I have a movie for y'all today, and I'm really excited for you to hear it. I really want y'all to buy it. I think this is going to be the next big thing. I wanted to tell a story. I wanted to tell a story that really got to the heart of what's going on in the world right now about just the consequences of unregulated capitalism and the strain that takes on you and me, everyone in the lower class, how everything's consolidated to the 1%, and how that has an effect on people. And so that's what I'm seeking to do with this movie called SpongeBob, a Sponge on the Job.
That was a switch up?
That was a switch up. All the fans.
What was the other word? And did an AI make the other one? Because it didn't get the hands right, and that's something that AI is not good at.
Go back. Excellent.
My man's throwing up gang signs.
So the fans thought I was going to do the metamorphosis, but I switched it up. I'm doing SpongeBob.
That's how we know we're not the fans.
A couple metamorphosis questions. Did an AI make that, and are those gang signs?
I believe they are gang signs, but they were drawn very intricately by a human artist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I don't know if it's the roach or the man, but they're going through something.
Yes. I think that roach has a goatee.
A roach tea?
The opening is times a changing.
I hate roaches.
SpongeBob.
Sponge on the job.
The intention of this movie is we really want to bring back what made the first two seasons of SpongeBob so iconic, because SpongeBob, it's been with us for over 20 years. I know all you Viacom people know this, but SpongeBob as a whole makes up like 1% of Viacom's total net gross income every year.
1%?
Yeah. They own like everything, and SpongeBob is like 1% of that.
They make 1% of our budget.
Whoa!
Essentially, I think the recent direction SpongeBob is going is it's all right as children's entertainment, but I don't think that's going to last you another 20 years. It's essentially the SpongeBob that made 4,365 frames of SpongeBob have become memes. That is what keeps the franchise going. That is why people keep returning to it, because it has a lifelong cycle on the internet. Most of those frames are from the first 3 seasons. And then yeah. So we need to get back to that sort of humor to breathe new life into the franchise. So this is my plan for it. The log line is after Mr. Krabs sells the Krusty Krab to a new owner, SpongeBob must keep the formula from falling into plankton sands, while also staying afloat after being demoted to part-time. We want to rely on the classic antagonist Plankton, who's always trying to steal the formula. We haven't done that in the last few movies, but we're gonna go back to that. Now, basically, my approach is I think the best SpongeBob stories center on the dynamic between SpongeBob and Squidward. That's the classic foil, that's the yin and yang that causes the conflict that keeps the story propelled forward. And I also think that's the reason why SpongeBob is as big as it is, because people watch it as a child and then they remember it, they go back and watch it, and they have a completely different experience because every child starts off a SpongeBob and they grow up to become a Squidward. That was the most ingenious thing that was ever done in those first 2 seasons of SpongeBob. SpongeBob is optimistic. He's full of life, and he doesn't really think about anything. He's careless like a child because he thinks everything's going to be okay. Sometimes to his detriment, but also sometimes in a good way. Meanwhile, Squidward has been hardened by life. He has been drug through the mud. He had a dream of being an artist. He just cares about his art, but nobody cares about it. And now he's stuck at a minimum wage job that he hates. And if that isn't the quintessential millennial experience, I don't know what it is. And millennials, they're parents now. They're the people that decide what their children are going to watch. So I say we target the millennials with a story that appeals to them and children. And that's the best way to do a SpongeBob. So how we're going to explore the themes is we're going to put SpongeBob, the childlike personality, through the gauntlet, the same gauntlet that Squidward went through, and sees if he can maintain his childlike innocence or if he is going to also become a hardened cynic. So I think another great thing about those first 2 seasons of SpongeBob is I haven't seen any piece of media portray working a minimum wage job better than SpongeBob.
Okay, fair. That's fair.
I wasn't allowed to watch SpongeBob as a kid. So when I watched it, it was after a year of just part-time jobs mixed with unemployment, a lot of these minimum wage, public-facing jobs, most notably a Starbucks barista. And when I watched Squidward, I was like, that's exactly how I felt in those jobs. And so I think we're going to extract a lot of what made the classic humor of SpongeBob so great. And it's going to hit a nerve with a lot of people. Everyone's talking about the wage gap. Also, things have changed in the past 20 years. Minimum wage jobs look different. Like, it's hard to get a minimum wage job full-time. Everything's part-time, so people need multiple jobs. The gig economy is a new thing. There's so much new material to explore with these classic SpongeBob characters that will introduce new humor. So here's the story I have. The first act, we open on SpongeBob and Patrick, the 2 best friends. They're singing a song because we need another good SpongeBob song. We didn't get one in the last movie. It's called the Best Friend Song. It's like an F is for Friends type song. It's going to be a classic. And they come across this giant speaker that is floated to the bottom of the ocean, and they're playing around with it. They're mesmerized by it. They plug up their music to it. Meanwhile, Squidward is sleeping, but they've pointed the speaker towards his house, and a solid wall of sound just knocks it over. And Squidward is angry about it. He's like, SpongeBob, you knocked over my house. And they're like, oh, we were just having some fun or whatever. And then Squidward's like, wait, what time is it? And Patrick's like, it's 006 o'clock. He's like, 006 o'clock? What is that? An alarm clock is falling out of Squidward's house. It's upside down. It's 9 o'clock. They're late for work. They're running to work. SpongeBob and Squidward run to work. And as soon as they get there, there's a sign that says under new management. Mr. Krabs has sold the Krusty Krab to a new character. His name is Neptune. He's like Poseidon, the classic character Poseidon, but instead of, the Greek god, he's the Roman god. I think that's what it was. I might have that backwards. But he's a new character, and he has a giant corporation, and he's looking to expand his real estate business into Bikini Bottom. He has started with buying the Krusty Krab because, of course, Mr. Krab will do anything for a ton of money. So
he'll also do anything for a little bit of money too.
Sell your soul for 62 cents, man.
Anyway, the new owner's first act is to demote all employees to part-time. So SpongeBob and Squidward are talking about it. Squidward's like, well, how are you going to pay rent now, SpongeBob? Someone was like, rent? What's that? It's like, you don't know what rent is? You have to pay rent on your pineapple. You might have it set up for direct deposit or something. I don't know. And then he's asking more questions. Like, wait, what are you going to do about insurance, taxes? And this makes no sense to SpongeBob because that makes no sense to children. And he's trying to get him to understand the concept that you work a job to make money. Like, if you don't have insurance, if you get hurt, you're going to have to pay a lot of money. So I was like, oh, like this. And he jumps off a cliff. The ambulance comes, hands him a bill.
Funny enough, that happened to me in real life once.
So anyway, the main crux of the story, SpongeBob needs to get a second job to, save his pineapple. Meanwhile, Squidward says he's going to use this newfound time to, really take his music career seriously. So the second act, the whole fun and games, it's all SpongeBob trying out different gig economy jobs, and they going horribly. His first idea is to be an Uber driver, or whatever our knockoff equivalent is. His first passenger, of course, is Mrs. Puff, who knows he doesn't have a driver's license, and he's trying to be like, oh, I got it out of town or something. And he proceeds to lead her on a disaster of a ride. They're running through everything. They're on the wrong side of the road, all that stuff. It ends with her blowing up. But anyway, as he's driving the car, he notices Neptune driving in a car next to him. He's like, oh, look, that's Neptune. But then his body starts to glitch a little. It's transparent, almost like a ghost. It glitches and then it disappears. And who's under it? It's Plankton and Karen. The god Neptune is secretly Plankton and Karen in disguise. They've used Karen's hologram technology to create a new avatar. So Plankton owns the Krusty Krab.
Question.
Thank you.
So SpongeBob is like, oh no, I gotta save the formula, because Plankton essentially has it now. He tries to communicate this to Patrick, but Patrick has a hard time grasping it, because he's Patrick. And they pass Squidward, and Squidward is just absolutely glowing. And he says, oh, I've been getting a ton of clarinet gigs. It's going great. Part-time's the best thing that happened to me. I'm finally living my dreams as an artist.
I'm glad the arts are alive under the sea.
It's really, that's all that matters.
There's a huge clarinet market down there. But anyway, SpongeBob is now working at a grocery store as a clerk, and Patrick keeps on coming in, and he wants to play, he wants to have fun, and he's distracting SpongeBob. SpongeBob also notices Neptune's walking in, who he knows is secretly Plankton and Karen, and he's trying to buy all this safe opening equipment, chainsaws, cutting equipment, the like, because the formula is in a safe, and he's trying to open it. SpongeBob knows this, and so he's trying to keep him from purchasing all the items in the grocery store. But of course, his manager is over his shoulder. He's like, you have to sell those to paying customers. And SpongeBob doesn't know what to do. He's trying not to get him to walk out with the stuff. He and Patrick cause mayhem, and he gets fired from that job. So SpongeBob doesn't know how he's going to make money. Meanwhile, he's scrolling on his phone. Of course, Squidward is posting all of his success stories about his music career. His Instagram is popping with all the local clarinet scene. Anyway, the midpoint, Plankton still hasn't been able to open the safe with the Krabby Patty formula. So his plan is, as Neptune, he's going to host a networking event at the Krusty Krab. And he's going to use that as a covert way to try to find someone that might have the skills to open a safe. SpongeBob and Patrick devise a plan to reveal Neptune for who he is in front of this entire crowd. The plan is they have a bucket of chum on the top of the stage in the Krusty Krab, and Carrie style, they're going to dump it on him, and if that doesn't mess with the holograms enough, then Sandy is going to run up on stage, do some karate on Neptune. And so that's the plan. SpongeBob and Patrick are going to attend the event as adults pretending to network. Patrick's going to pull the lever. Sandy's going to go on, do the fighting, and SpongeBob is going to signal the whole thing. Plankton realizes what's going on. And so it's when he's up giving his speech, instead of finishing it, he really quickly swaps out for Squidward, who is there. He's actually playing clarinet at the event. So he puts Squidward on the stage instead. The bucket of chum falls on Squidward. Sandy does karate on Squidward. And it's a disaster. And at the end of this scene, Squidward is distraught. And this is where he reveals that his music career has gone nowhere. He's been faking it to make it this whole time. This was the first gig he got, and now he's not even getting paid for that. He's essentially destitute now because no one likes clarinet music. That's where we're ending that. So the third act, SpongeBob knocks on Squidward's door. He apologizes for everything and is like, hey, I got a good opportunity for both of us. I have a great way I just found out to make money. I've bought a ton of these energy drinks, and I could sell all the energy drinks, and I could also recruit other people to sell the energy drinks so we could both get rich, Squidward. And Squidward's just like, SpongeBob, you're in a pyramid scheme. How much money did you spend on these energy drinks? SpongeBob looks in his pocket. We get one of those super detailed close-ups of the empty pocket. There's no money in there.
Those close-ups are always like unnecessarily good. Like, why?
It's like they spent like 70% of the episode's budget went to this one frame.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, SpongeBob's walking back to his house, and in the few moments he's left the house, an eviction notice is on the front door of his pineapple. He hasn't been able to afford rent. He is officially kicked out of his pineapple. So SpongeBob and Gary go to move in with Patrick, and Patrick is super pumped about this idea. He thinks they're just going to have nonstop fun. But SpongeBob, he's trying to do his new job he found. He's doing a work-from-home data entry job. Super boring stuff, but he's determined to work now because he wants to get his pineapple back. But Patrick keeps on wanting to play. He's singing the best friend song, trying to guilt him into playing, but he's on this boring Zoom call, entering numbers, and that leads to a huge argument. They have a falling out, and SpongeBob leaves. And SpongeBob is essentially homeless right now, but Squidward sees him from his house and starts to feel sorry for him. He remembers back to that one SpongeBob episode where he was homeless and SpongeBob let him live in his house, and he's like, hey, I could use a roommate. You need a place. I can't believe I'm saying this, but let's live together. And so they live together for a little bit. Meanwhile, SpongeBob is trying to still save the Krabby Patty formula, and he's overheard Plankton and Karen talking. They have a new idea. Since they haven't found someone that could crack the safe, they've worked out a deal with Poseidon, and he's going to use his lightning powers to open the safe, get the formula. So SpongeBob is like, we got to stop them before they get to Poseidon. So he visits Mr. Krabs, who is living large on his new fortune. He essentially barely remembers SpongeBob. He's just having so much fun with all this new money. He has a giant mansion. He's doing what every billionaire in the real world does, that he's making rockets, only instead of going to space, he's going to land. He's been on like 2 or 3 land missions so far. He's like, hey, I just thought of something, Mr. Krabs. You sold the Krusty Krab location. You didn't sell the rights to the formula. So if we get the formula, you could still make a little more money. And of course, like once he hears money, Mr. Krabs is in. So Mr. Krabs, Sandy, and SpongeBob have a plan. They're going to build a giant crab mech, a giant robot crab, and they're going to use that to walk up to Plankton, steal the formula back. And after they come up with this plan, Mr. Krabs is like, hey, since we're all 3 working on this, we should all 3 like contribute equally to the cost to make this giant robot. And of course, Mr. Krabs, that's nothing to him. Sandy can contribute. SpongeBob, he doesn't want to not contribute, so he puts in all the money he has into this. He gets back to Squidward's house. Squidward is like, hey, rent is due. And SpongeBob is like, oh, I gave it all to Mr. Krabs. And that's where we reach our low point. Squidward is like, how could you give all your money to Mr. Krabs? He doesn't need your money. You are too gullible, SpongeBob. You think the best of people to a fault. You let people walk all over you, and you need to start taking things more seriously. You're a homeless sponge right now, for God's sake. The world's a cruel place. You're either going to survive, you're going to die. You got to get with it, SpongeBob. You got to be an adult. You got to grow up. And this hurts SpongeBob, but he understands because he's been trying to make his own living and it hasn't worked out. So he enters adult mode, which is essentially he makes his face to look more like Squidward's. He starts talking monotone Squidward-like, and we call him Spongeword from here all out. So he just goes on to his shifts. It's like, I'm at the Krusty Krab or whatever. But meanwhile, Plankton has managed to crack the safe. He has the Krabby Patty formula. And so essentially he has everything he needs to essentially own all of Bikini Bottom. He's bought all of the homes. He's pricing people out of their homes if they rent. He's buying up all the small businesses. Small businesses are closing. Everyone in Bikini Bottom is unhappy. And Squidward notices what's going on, and he wishes there was some hope. And he's like, wait, you know who used to have hope? It was SpongeBob. SpongeBob was always able to be happy no matter what, and that's kind of what we need right now. So Squidward approaches Spongeword, and he tells him, hey, I miss the old SpongeBob. You know, I always like low-key wished I had the joy that SpongeBob had. He always had so much optimism. He could make the best out of any situation. And whatever hope you had, as much as it led to people walking all over you, like, that's something precious that you should keep. And SpongeBob turns back into himself, and that's when Squidward is like, hey, we got to band together. We got to save the Krusty Krab. And so the climax is the entire town bands together to finish the giant crab mech. I know, we'll get to it. The entire town bands together. They build this giant robot. They walk up to Plankton. Plankton has built a giant robot of his own. And so now there's a giant robot fight. And the entirety of Bikini Bottom is in the crab robot. It's all of our favorite characters, including, the My Leg guy, the fish with the pants, the Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, the lobster, all of those people. So 2 giant robots are fighting. They start fighting a little too close to Mr. Krabs' rocket ship. They get tangled up in it, and the rocket ship blasts off, and they go up to the land. And on the beach that they blast off to, there is a giant music festival happening. At this event are artists such as Drake, Future, A$AP Rocky, Migos, Russ, Amine, Metro Boomin. These names will all make sense in a little bit. The 2 mechs are now fighting on the land, and we're going to stylize it to where they're in live action, and we're going to have 2 people dressed up in like mech suits, like the classic 70s Godzilla movies, just like duking it out. But anyway, the mechs are fighting, and the Plankton mech is winning. Also, here's kind of what I'm picturing for the mechs. But anyway, the Plankton mech is winning. They're down bad, but SpongeBob and Patrick, they've made up. And they're remembering the great times that they had. They're looking around, and they remember from the first scene how they knocked over Squidward's house with a giant speaker. And they're at a music festival, surrounded by giant speakers. So the new plan is they're working together with Metro Boomin to link up all of the sound systems. And they're going to essentially blast out a giant song at the Plankton neck that's going to knock it over. But right when Metro Boomin is about to press play, a loose piece of shrapnel hits his hands. He's like, oh no, I can't finish my beat. Quick, does anyone here play the clarinet? And Squidward's like, what? I play the clarinet. Metro Boomin's like, really? It's like, yeah. You like the clarinet, Mr. Boomin? And Metro Boomin's like, yeah. I pioneered using flutes and trap beats. Like, every single artist at this festival has one of my flute beats. And I think clarinets are the next big thing. I'm making a ton of clarinet beats right now. Will you play clarinet on my beat so we can knock over this robot? And Squidward's like, yes, I've been waiting for this opportunity my whole life. And so they do it. They plug out the sound system. Squidward plays the clarinet. It knocks over the Plankton mech, and he is defeated. SpongeBob and Patrick also hop on a mic, and they start singing their best friend song, but over this clarinet beat. So there's a cool little remix to it.
Beforehand, it's if young Metro don't trust you.
Yeah.
F it for friends who
do stuff together. Yes. Grit. Yeah. Also, Plankton, he is now outside of the mech. I forgot to mention this earlier, but inside of his mech is a new AI system, kind of like Karen, but new and shiny. So Karen's a little jealous of this. It's like a female Jarvis and Iron Man type situation.
Sure.
But anyway, Plankton's like, hey, you can take the Krusty Krab formula. You can't take it from my memory. And then that's when the new AI is like, activating memory ray, and it just shoots him. And Plankton's like, no, I forgot it. I didn't even know I had a memory ray. What? I forgot it now.
I forgot my memory ray.
So that's it. The Plankton does not remember the formula. They have it. And so our resolution, everything in Bikini Bottom is back to normal. When SpongeBob gets back, he's still broke. But it turns out, while he's been trying to fight Plankton this whole time, Gary has set up...
His PPP loan came... Oh,
yeah.
Well.
Now, Mr. Krabs took all the PPE money. But no, Gary, he started an Etsy shop, and he's selling like little homemade hats to other snails, and that's enough money to pay rent. But anyway, in the final scene, Mr. Krabs is back in charge of the Krusty Krab. Squidward and SpongeBob are working there full time. They both negotiated for better pay, too. And Squidward, he now has a better attitude. He's learned from SpongeBob to make the best out of any situation and to approach things positively. Meanwhile, SpongeBob, he has learned the responsibility of an adult without losing the childlike wonder, and he's learned how to stick up for himself. At one point, Mr. Krabs, he's about to take his break. Mr. Krabs is like, hey, why don't you work or whatever? And he's like, no, I earned this break. I'm going to take this break. Don't push me around, Mr. Krabs. He goes outside, meets with Patrick, sing the best friend song again, and it just ends with the general antics. They're like running around recklessly in the Krusty Krab. They're like breaking something to Squidward's. That's the movie. And just real quick, I think the animation style, just kind of switching gears, I actually am a big fan of the kind of 3D look they went with the last movie. I especially really like how they deal with the lighting. I think to like both make it a little different and also harken back to like the original look of the show. So I think we could do what Spider-Verse and Mitchell's versus the Machines is doing and like kind of add in hand-drawn human elements on top of the animation. So we're keeping like the same lighting, but we could almost like add some watercolored textures to it. We have like 2 watercolor paintings up there, so it could kind of look like that.
And that was Sponge on the Run, right?
Yes, Sponge on the Run.
Yes, that movie we produced.
Yeah, the last movie you put out.
They all blur together.
I also think the bottom right corner, the sky designs in SpongeBob are really iconic, and I think that's a cool area to play around with. I'm thinking that like we could draw with watercolors because water, underwater, and then maybe even those little like flower designs, or I know there's something else. I forget. I apologize, execs, but those little flower designs we could like
We don't know either.
go over with some gloppy, like almost Van Gogh-like paint, so it's almost like it has a 3D kind of look to it, and it feels like we're kind of in a painting. I think that's a really cool idea to like give a fresh look to SpongeBob.
When you look at like SpongeBob, or the water sky picture on like the bottom right, you can like hear that picture.
Yeah.
Like it's every time I stare at it, and then when I look away, I'm like, oh, there it is again. It like comes with its own like baked in background music.
Exactly. Yeah, I did a quick mock-up. So this is from Sponge on the Run, and then here's like a kind of new design I did, so you could see the texturing around the flowers.
Sponge on the LSD.
Yes. Exactly. That's a whole untapped demographic of SpongeBob we need to reach.
I mean, SpongeBob's big in the rap scene.
Big in
the rap scene.
Yeah. Hold on. I mean, Metro Boomin trusts him.
Yeah. He doesn't trust us anymore.
You know what he does if he doesn't trust you.
Yeah.
Something bad,
Also,
I assume.
the climax fight, I just wanted to add some further illustration. I love in the classic SpongeBob series when they would go to the live action world and they'd be like physical sponges and action figures or whatever.
Like on a popsicle stick.
So essentially we're putting that on steroids. So we're going to build like a little cityscape that's like right outside of our beach music festival, just out of cardboard. And I think we really want to lean into the homemade feel because that's what they did in the classic show for all the live action sets. Make it look kind of homemade and just have our 2 human beings in mech suits just fighting it out.
Riddle me this. Mm-hmm. So they're small, right? So giant mech suit, is this just human size?
See, I thought we would ask that. They built these mechs very big. Because, Mr. Krabs and Plankton, they're both billionaires. They aren't skimping on their security like the U.S., They're putting a lot into the military budget.
That's topical right there.
So they're going to destroy a city and then just hop back in the ocean, and there's going to be no investigation.
Just like America. Well, see, there's sequel potential there. But, and again, I love the classic Godzilla where you could tell there's a person in this latex suit, but the fights are still shot in a way where it's like actually really entertaining. And then lastly, just the things to consider for the film. We love a good cameo in the SpongeBob movies. David Hasselhoff, Snoop Dogg, Keanu Reeves. Of course, since we're at a music festival, there's plenty of opportunity to have whatever artists we want. And we could even have a celebrity or two that are, just attending the music festival and get Ross in the fray of the action. I picked Jack Black. I think he looks perfect for this role.
And the remaining Migos.
Yeah. We don't want to skimp on the music at all.
Migos riff.
We haven't had an iconic SpongeBob song in forever. Those are some of the best moments of the show. F is for Friends, Campfire Song, Gary Come Home. Yeah.
Hey, F is for the F is for Friends with a clarinet trap beat.
Yep.
I mean, that goes hard.
Yep. So we got a new iconic song. Also, with all the artists we have at the music festival, there's endless supply of people we could pull from for the official soundtrack. I know with the last movie, you guys recruited like J Balvin, Sway Lee, Lil Mosey. This time around, we get a Metro Boomin song. Metro Boomin's well connected. If we get him in this movie, he could get us whoever we want. Anyway, that's my pitch. Thank you so much.
Wow.
I have a trailer I want to show y'all real quick. I've cut together a little fake trailer for you.
Oh, wow.
So real.
Let's go jellyfishing! Jellyfishing! What is that?
Yo.
SpongeBob! You knocked over my house! I think it looks better!
Wait, what time is it?
Oh, it's 006 o'clock.
006? It's 9 o'clock! We're gonna be late for work, SpongeBob!
Hey, Squidward! You're late for work. Under new management.
That's right, me boy. I'm selling the Krusty Krab.
But Mr. Krabs, you can't.
I can for enough money. Neptune is demoting us to part-time, SpongeBob.
Part-time? What is that?
It means you need a new job.
Uber's here. Whoa! Look, I got all these energy drinks and I'm going to sell them and then recruit more people to sell them and get rich.
You're in a pyramid scheme, SpongeBob.
Hey, look, it's Neptune. Neptune is plankton.
The Krabby Patty formula will be mine.
I gotta save the Krusty Krab, but I also have so many bills.
You think you can run around with Patrick all day? You're an adult, SpongeBob. The world is a cruel place. You're either gonna survive or you're gonna die.
I'm an adult now.
Hey, SpongeBob. What do you say we save the Krusty Krab?
Really? How do you afford rent, Patrick?
Oh, my parents pay it.
Wow, good luck,
Wow.
Chase.
Wow.
That's my pitch, everyone.
Chase is distraught in the corner.
Special shout out to the impressionist on Fiverr. I paid $20 to
Oh,
do
okay.
the
I was
voices.
about to say.
I was about to ask.
Wait, I mean, that was really close. Like, some of them were really, like, almost spot on. Well, first of all, I like that you've done your research and your homework. I specifically like the part where you said Metro Boomin is well connected.
He do be spitting
Yeah,
facts.
no, that is the truth. Mr. Boomin is.
Oh yeah, Mr. Boomin.
I guess, do we need to ask, how much money would you need for this film?
Animated movies, they are expensive, but they have a huge return at the box office as well. I would want at least $50 million for this. I think that's doable. Especially considering how valuable the SpongeBob IP is. It's 1% of your entire company. I think we could. I think we could
live
the
on
best.
99% for 2 years.
We can be a little tight. Might be some rice and beans, but I think Viacom can.
You mean some light caviar?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. It's a huge draw for Paramount Plus too. I know.
Yeah.
We're trying to get people there.
Oh yeah, we have a streaming service.
I mean, on every poster, we always put Jeff Probst and we put SpongeBob next to him. So maybe a Jeff Probst cameo at the festival.
Well, I don't. Do y'all have any more questions for?
So is Neptune a god? That's my question.
Yeah. So Neptune is a god, or at least he's presented as that. Of course, he's not a real person.
I was
at
just
all.
wondering because in one of the other movies we made, he was balding, and I don't know if gods go bald.
But it's also, we've gone so long that I think there's 2 different Neptunes, and I'm still not quite positive
so
how this went.
The character y'all have made is Poseidon. I'm proposing Neptune as like a new god figure who's like the Roman instead of the Greek, or vice versa.
Or whichever way it actually is.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I'm on board. And if it's $50 million you need, $50 million you got.
Thank you so much, judges.
I don't know why we shook hands with each other. We struck a deal with you. Sorry.
There you go. I am curious about just one thing thematically.
Yes.
And plot-wise. Where did Plankton get this money?
Plankton, he invested in Bitcoin early on, and that took off. He got on board with Ethereum like right as the GameStop stuff was happening.
We need an ocean alternative to Bitcoin. Shellcoin?
Shellcoin. Hold on.
You know what? I know enough to know that that's probably a real coin right now. That's worth like 0.000017 cents.
Our fact
not
checkers
worthless.
Get on it.
No.
Not worthless.
All right. Well, do we need to? We're going to deliberate, and then I think we've got another pitch to hear.
All right, great. Sounds great.
Thank you, Mr. Therrell.
Mr. Raccoon. Be a professional.
That's a little bit. We produce SpongeBob.
We are.
I've heard.
We are. How are you doing, young man?
I'm nervous now. I peeked my head in for the last pitch, and don't expect that again.
Yeah, you never. A lot of people didn't expect to
Including us.
to see a Metro Boomin X SpongeBob collab, but here
The
we
interesting
are.
thing is I tried to get Metro Boomin, and he didn't answer my calls. Studio heads, I may not have the talent as my competitor. I may not have worked as hard as my competitor. But I have something my competitor does not have. And that is
A suit jacket? Oh, sorry.
a suit
A suit jacket?
I have Chris Pratt attached to do the voice of the Predator.
Oh wow! Wow.
And I brought a little something in case I needed some extra help because I foresaw this.
Wow! Thank you.
Oh, we get to split it?
I'm gonna hold it up to the light.
Can you cut that into 3 pieces?
Yeah, I would. I will. So we're gonna break that in
Studio
half.
heads, thank you for your
Nice and
time.
Waffle House later. Sorry.
Thank you for your time. Guys, what is the greatest thing that has the word predator in it?
To catch a predator.
What's the second best thing that has the word predator in it?
Predator versus Aliens.
The Predator franchise. And we're not talking the Subway Jareds of the world. We're talking about this alien. And I would like to propose to you guys
Different
Predator,
Different predator.
blood, and sand. That's right. Predator versus Gladiator. When the Predator kidnaps a group of Roman gladiators, he takes them all on one by one in a recreation of a Colosseum in space. If you look at some of the pictures, you can get a little bit of the tone that I'm trying to give off here. Darker vibes, blue tones. I photoshopped the Predator with Russell Crowe. So write that down on your call sheet.
It actually did work. Check.
Dough shopped.
Took me 20 minutes. The characters, the most important character in a Predator movie is, of course, the Predator. The Predator comes to Earth every so often, and he's looking to kill the fiercest warrior on Earth. And he does that to show that he's still at the top of the food chain. And you want to know who was at the top of the food chain during gladiator Rome? The gladiators. The Predator kidnaps a handful of them with the intention of taking them to his replica Colosseum in space. Our main character is Cassius. Again, I photoshopped Russell Crowe. Don't know if you noticed that. PD, make sure you write that down. Cassius is a religious pacifist, meaning he doesn't believe in fighting, but he is an enslaved gladiator, and they're forcing him to fight in the Colosseum. He refuses to fight because he has an opposal to violence. He just doesn't believe in it. However, right after he announces that he will gladly die without a fight, he is one of the kidnapped gladiators. And he decides that fighting to save everyone from the Predator is a worthy cause to fight for. And he leads the fight against the Predator. Titus, if you notice, that's also Russell Crowe. Make sure you jot that one down, Shama. Titus is the closest thing Cassius has to a friend in the Colosseum. They're not really friends, but he's the only one that speaks to him. So he thinks that Cassius is foolish for refusing to fight because Titus has spent his whole life being a gladiator in the games, and he hopes to win his freedom one day. He thinks that fighting is the only way to get out of things. Decius, this is not Russell Crowe. This is Andre the Giant.
Once again, a picture you can hear.
If you see Decius as a literal giant, he fights several times a year. He is a gladiator celebrity. And he's been offered his freedom several times because everyone loves him, but he refuses because he likes to fight. He wants to fight. Remember that later. That's called foreshadowing. My movie follows the story of Cassius, a slave who has been forced to compete in the gladiator games, but his religious views and personal views prevent him from fighting at all. But right before the main event battle against the giant is when the Predator shows up and just starts murdering everyone so easily. He kidnaps Cassius and a few of the other gladiators and takes him up to his spaceship where he has built a replica Colosseum. The Predator takes them on one by one for the first 3 or 4 and defeats them almost instantly because he has like lasers. And you've seen a Predator movie, right? Right? You've seen a Predator? Yeah. Okay. Well, make sure you write that down. You've seen it.
I have not. I'm so sorry.
Oh, so I was under the impression you guys were the studio that made Predator.
We don't have. We always watch what we make.
That's fair.
And also, we took over well after those movies were made.
I don't always eat what I cook.
That's fair. I don't listen to Written By, so I understand.
What's Written By?
Do we own that?
Yeah, we can.
We will.
We can.
Hey, intern, buy Written By for us.
Buy Written By.
So after watching several of the gladiators die quickly to the Predator, Cassius, Titus, Decius, and a couple of the other gladiators work together to escape the Colosseum replica, and now they're just running free on this spaceship. And they're trying to figure out a way to get back home. The Predator loves this because now it's a game of cat and mouse. It's not just this easy one-on-one that he was doing. He's hunting, he's stalking, he's having a great time, and he's picking them off one by one until there's only Cassius, Titus, and Decius left. And the reason that these 3 have survived is because they've chosen to fight together instead of being arrogant and thinking you can take it on one-on-one. They work together using Cassius's intelligence, Titus's leadership, and Decius's strength because he's Andre the Giant. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Thank you.
They'll fix it.
We both watch the same documentary.
The ending is bittersweet because they do kill the Predator. They work together and they kill him. However, they look out the giant spaceship window and they see Earth. And they realize, they're Roman gladiators. They don't know how to fly an alien spaceship.
And they'll also realize the Earth is not flat.
That was a big blow, I'm sure. Yeah. So they won the battle, but they don't have a way to get home, which is also not a bad thing, really, because they probably would have just been thrown right back into slavery and forced to fight each other to the death. So, we win and we lose. The movie is mostly a character-driven. I mean, there's a lot of action scenes and stuff, like any Predator movie, but it's all about Cassius's journey. He's someone who refused to fight for something that he didn't believe in, but when forced to fight for something he did believe in, which was saving the lives of his fellow slaves against an alien predator, literally, he chose to fight because basically his morals are, don't fight for something you don't believe in, fight for something you do believe in. There are men in this movie that were forced to fight against each other back on Earth, and they were forced to kill each other back on Earth. But on this little spaceship, they have to work together against a greater evil. And Decius's arc, which is Andre the Giant, thank you. His
I
arc
drink a lot of Bud Light.
which is our sponsor. I do have Bud Light attached to the movie.
Oh, wait, so we're not fully funding this? Okay, hold on. Now I'm suddenly
Just product placement, nothing crazy.
I can drink 5 cases of beer.
They just call me Andre the Drinker.
Andre, calm down.
That's a bad impression. Sorry.
It's okay. I laughed because you're going to give me money. So Decius's arc is all about how, his whole personality was that he wanted to fight. He liked to fight. It made him a star. But he actually made the decision to not fight independently and to work with others and to not fight for glory, but for survival. And that's kind of a really important theme of my movie. These are the 3 different media that I would be drawing a lot of visual inspiration from. Prey, which was the most recent Predator movie, which you guys just released on Hulu. Fantastic job, by the way.
Good job, guys. Good job.
Forgot about that one too.
The movie Gladiator, full of Russell Crowe. Write that down. Thank you. And Game of Thrones, just the visual style of Game of Thrones. Really, that's it. No themes or anything like that. And I also have a little trailer to show you. Don't expect much. But I did do my best Russell Crowe impression, so write that down.
Okay.
Now I'm expecting everything.
Full screen it for us, young man.
Make sure
Absolutely,
you can hear me
sir.
writing this down.
All right, are you ready, sir?
I will not fight. Not for them. Not for them. For the entertainment of the people who stole me. I would rather die. You want to go home? Well, there it is.
Thank you. Woo! Yeah.
Wow.
Thanks.
Hey, exactly. Was that you?
That was me. That was me in the recommended there. Wow.
I'm a big fan.
He's done
I'm a
his
big
research.
fan.
He's done his research.
And are you sure you weren't doing your best Al Pacino?
So I did pitch my voice down in post, if that's what you're asking. Yeah. Russell Crowe is a very gravel-voiced man.
Gotcha.
So I hope you take all of this into consideration, especially the Photoshops. And that dollar goes a long way in this economy. So thank you guys.
Well, I mean, I know you need some dollars. How many dollars do you need to make this film possible?
I overheard your other pitch, and it sounded like he needed a little too much money, in my opinion. I can make this movie for $10 million.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if this means anything to you guys, but Danny DeVito has been interested in directing. His first directorial since Matilda.
Those are the Matilda and this are the only 2 directing credits he needs.
That's right, yeah.
Any
questions?
Yeah, I grew up watching that Predator show.
With Chris
What was
Hansen?
that, the Cosby Show?
Oh, The Cosby Show.
I was going to say anything, any of the Dan Schneider Nickelodeon shows.
Oh, that
I was
too.
going.
Again, both of them attached.
What?
Yeah, both of them attached. Silent partners.
Who do you think the audience is for a film like this?
Everyone. No, I'm joking. I believe male, Caucasian, 30.
Yeah.
Only those.
Very specifically those.
People who are excited or who are team. Do you think there's going to be a like a Team Edward, team kind of Twilight?
I do
kind of
think
break,
a lot
like
of people
Team
are
Gladiator?
going to be rooting for the Predator. Because, if America has any history, they don't care for slaves much.
Especially on white slaves.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, at one point, you accidentally referred to Titus as Titius, and I'm going to pitch a character switch up. He's a gladiator who's really he's a germaphobe. He's keeping everything real clean, constantly. He has
he's cleaning.
He's got wipes and where do you?
So I actually did that on purpose because guess who else is attached? The Charmin Bears.
No way! I thought you were
Yeah.
gonna say Mr. Clean.
No, he was expensive.
Charmin Bears. Are they playing? They playing Predators or what are they doing here?
Yeah.
Am I gonna have to watch a Charmin? Are we gonna buy the IP to watch a Charmin Bear get murdered by a freaking spear?
You know what? I'm changing everything. Everything just got one more than it did before.
Can you make it? Can you do it for 50 mil? Because I think we might have to reallocate some funds.
I can do it for whatever you
Bears.
need. Honestly, if you want to go low budget, we could do a miniature stadium, and we could do a real low budget $1 million. Whatever helps me beat Robert.
You want an A24 this?
We could A24 it. I mean, hey, I don't want to insult your financial institution. But I mean, if you're dropping 50 mil on a SpongeBob movie,
it's the SpongeBob movie.
It is very good. I'll give you that.
Any contact? Have you made contact with Russell Crowe
or the Predator?
Listen, guys, I was going to. I don't know if you saw the movie The Nice Guys. He's gotten out of shape. We don't want him to be our gladiator. Okay. We already have one giant, if you know what I mean.
That's fair. That's fair.
I was thinking.
Whoa! That is a physical illness.
I was thinking.
Don't clown Andre the Giant like that. We already have one giant.
What studio does the Predator movies? What do you guys? Who do you work for? Disney, I think. Disney.
I'll have to Google myself and find out.
Listen, I don't know about you guys, but for our main gladiator, I think that the hierarchy of the Disney universe is about to change because Dwayne Johnson is who I see in the leading role. I don't know if you saw a little banger called Black Adam.
So you're gonna wear that same shirt from those 4 movies?
Ideally,
the same dirty shirt,
the same dirty tan button,
the same dirty formerly white shirt.
You laugh, but that dirty shirt that makes more money a year.
And if we're gonna have Dwayne, we need a jungle.
Oh yeah, we do need a jungle.
Maybe in the ship. I can see something about that. And maybe Kevin Hart can play one of the little alien babies.
Yeah.
We can make it a comedy if that's what you guys prefer.
Funny comedy.
Alien baby Kevin Hart. You know what? I gotta bump some stuff up here.
All right, well, we appreciate you. We never got your name.
My name is Chase, and I'm the face that runs the place. So,
Wow.
Okay.
write that down.
We will rely on you for rhymes.
All right. Yeah, I can rhyme. I do it all the day long. Okay. Thank you, guys. Any more questions?
Thank you. It was a pleasure hearing from you.
Oh, thanks.
And your blazer.
I wore very professional.
Yes, please, could you give me the number for your tailor? I need 6 new suits.
I bought this. I don't know where I got it.
A Target?
No, I didn't get it from Target. I don't know where I got it. H&M. H&M.
Yeah, I do feel the need to disclose that I did legitimately vote for Chase in the midterms earlier today.
That is true.
And that's not going to affect my decision making here.
Well, it should.
I'm going to call it right down the middle.
Or not.
Yeah. Thank you, Chase.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
We'll follow the will of the people.
That's true.
We are the people.
Thank you.
And then we throw out the Suno reverse card that I found.
Reverse. So, I mean, we've heard both pitches.
Which one do we want to start with?
We'll start in the order that we heard.
Okay,
that's fair.
Robert T.
Robert Therrell, I believe.
Roberto.
SpongeBob, Sponge on the Job. I'm a big fan. Concept, I gave it an 8. Story, I gave it a 10. Characters, I gave it a 7. Commercial appeal, 10. I don't think SpongeBob is like wine. It gets better with time, right? Likelihood to watch, a 9. Trailer, a 10. I enjoyed it. I had a blast. The Fiverr guys who lended their voices for the trailer also killed it as well. So I liked it. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are SpongeBob in the gig economy, it would be very fascinating to watch. And that's why my likelihood to watch is at a 10. I would not miss this movie.
Okay.
It just wouldn't happen. Trailer, also a 10. Incredible voice actor work. It just looked like something that I really want to see right now.
Drop everything.
Drop everything and watch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you did likelihood to watch and trailer. Take it from go back to the top. What do you got?
Okay, concept. I've got a 9. Story, a 7. There's some things I want to workshop. I want to work Sway Lee into the story. That's why I gave it a 7 for now.
Could work its way up.
Character, 10, because, I mean, it's the iconic SpongeBob characters with a little twist. And commercial appeal, I gave it an 8 because we're testing out how millennial SpongeBob will do.
That's fair. That's fair.
I
That's
think
fair.
the fact I gave it commercial appeal a 10 just because 4,000 frames from the first 2 or 3 seasons. That's there is a market for SpongeBob.
See, he brought a statistic. I was impressed by that.
I was,
I was very impressed.
Plus, could you imagine? It's hard to make 10 memes as is.
On purpose.
Better yet, create a show with 3 seasons where freaking the frames comedically, not only are they hilarious, but they play decades later.
Yeah.
Is it decades? How long is
It's been decades. It's been decades. It's been decades.
I don't know, but yeah, Alan, talk to us.
I'm gonna give concept an 8, simply because, just like we were all saying, I love the story, I love the idea, but we just don't know if it's gonna work. We just don't know, and I have some plot details. I think when that goes to the story, I gave it a 9. I feel like there's some details that could be ironed out, be a little smoother. Maybe run this from a 2-hour 20 movie down to like a 140. I think if we go a little shorter, attention spans are down recently.
Thanks to TikTok.
Facts. We're gonna make a 3-minute movie.
Do we own TikTok?
Probably.
We will.
Intern, get on that. Characters, I thought they were written. They were written honestly, and 20 years of substance and material to come from it. It felt genuine. Commercial appeal, I'm gonna give it a 9. I think the potential's there, but obviously when those millennials that haven't moved out of their homes, that are sitting at 27 and living in their basement and have to get their 50-something-year-old
Hey, don't
parents
talk
to come.
about me like that.
It wasn't you specifically,
Oh, yeah.
not today. I feel like the rap game might be a little bit of a turnoff for them, but obviously we can't make a movie for literally everyone, just as much as we can.
Who we're gonna put as the musical guest? Green Day.
What if, just pitching here,
people.
just pitching here, hold on. We make 4 different versions of this
In different regions.
You go in.
Yeah.
You go in on the demographic you want to be a part of.
Yeah. You're kinda
Yeah,
like, you're
or
tailored
maybe
to you.
location based. Like if you go see it in Texas, you get Kid Rock.
If you go in India, you get all Bollywood, everything.
I love Bollywood. Likelihood to watch. It broke the scale. It broke the scale. I gave it an 11. It's that good.
Yeah.
And the trailer, I'm giving it an 8, but only because obviously some limitations, home project, lip syncs aren't quite right, the animation's all over the place, but I feel like it has so much potential that we
What
could.
was there was there. Yeah.
What was the spirit was there.
You could
needs some
feel the
technical work.
energy.
Yeah. And that's what I'm always feeling for.
Yeah,
I'm
and
feeling for
I
it.
will say I have listed how much money this film would make at $1 more than Avatar 7.
Oh, okay. I have 90 mil. MIL, not million, 90 mil.
Oh, okay. Awesome. And that's how much money? Well, yeah, he said 50. Overall, I'm really excited not only for us to see it, but also for the world to see SpongeBob sponge on the job. Moving right along.
That other movie.
Yeah, the other order of business.
Oh boy, the bald-headed stepchild project of our studio. Gladiator versus Alien. Concept, I gave it a 7. This is probably my fault. I've never seen Gladiator or Alien.
Even though it was a Predator movie.
It was Gladiator versus Predator. Look, I have
Gladiator versus Alien versus Predator.
Jesus Christ, that's a new. We're spinning off. There's a franchise of the franchise.
Quick, bump all of your numbers up one.
Versus Predator. Sorry, I've not seen. Oh boy. I don't even know how to spell Predator. That says a lot about me. Gladiator versus Predator.
Then Chris Hansen will not catch you.
Like, whoa, I can't even spell it, sir. I gave it a 7. Gave it a 7. Story, I gave it an 8. Mainly because I'm just a little clueless on where the story would go, seeing as I have no experience of the story at all. Characters, I gave it a 9. I think I'm excited to see Titius. I'm excited to see him clean up some Predator guts. Commercial appeal, I'm giving it a 10, mainly because the most recent Predator movie, Prey, our friends over at Disney had a little. They did well. They did well.
They did good on a loner.
They did good. Yeah, and likelihood to watch, I'm gonna give it a 7. Trailer, I also gave it a 7. I think we'll give him 10 mil. Sounds like a safe investment.
Oh, so you wrote down how much money you would give them.
Well, how much money they said they needed. And do I need to knock some money down from there and buy myself?
Would you like to read the downline?
Oh, how much money would this film make? Oh, okay. Man.
Didn't we write our own
I just wrote exactly how much money would this film make? Because how much money do you want? 50? I just wrote that down. I mean, this film, Gladiator versus Predator. Alien versus Predator. Come on. I mean, the more weird things that we can add, the more villains or
Gladiator versus Alien versus really Chris Hansen versus Predator.
This could be our Avengers Endgame. I think there's 100 million there easy. I think people would show up and show out. Talk to us nice.
All right. Concept. I've got an 8. And I think that's pretty high, but it's because some people, when they wake up, they choose violence. And this is going to be a very violent movie.
Okay.
So I think they're going to choose violence potentially over seeing SpongeBob. I guess it just depends on which crowd it is. I think 18 to 35-year-old males are going to be more likely to see this movie.
Yeah.
Story, I've got a 9. And that's because you don't really need a story in this. It's about violence. Characters.
Violence doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end.
It just
is. It just is. You don't know why it started. You don't know what's happening. You don't know why it stopped. You're like,
All right, characters.
And then
I had it at a 7, but then when the revelation of Titius came up, I bumped it up to an 8. And also, I would like to see Derrick Henry as the Predator. That's a sports reference. I don't know. Alan should get it.
Yes.
But I don't mean to sound problematic right now, but with the dreads and the face mask, he just looks like the alien or the Predator.
Then we have to co-brand with Skittles, though.
Yeah. We can work that in.
Okay.
Are we talking Gladiator versus Aliens versus Predator versus Skittles? Come on, guys.
Versus Derrick Henry.
We have a Predator-flavored Skittle.
All right. Commercial appeal, I have it at a 7. Slightly below SpongeBob. It's just not quite, that brand. It's not as iconic as SpongeBob. Likelihood
it's not
to watch.
Porous and yellow and friendly as he.
That's true.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Likelihood to watch, I've got it at an 8. I'm not the biggest action movie guy.
Where do you stand on violence?
I like fake violence. I'm a big pro wrestling fan.
It's acting just fake violence.
I guess so, but it looks real.
I'm gonna have real gladiators fight real.
We're not.
Wait, are we actually fighting to the death?
No, this is not.
Oh, darn.
It's just like a lot of blood and stuff. Likelihood to watch. Oh, I already did that. Trailer 7. Russell Crowe / Al Pacino impersonation was solid. And my phone just fell off of my lap. How much money would this film make? 89 million. That's 1 million under Sponge on the Job.
Interesting. Alan?
I'll give the concept a 7. I believe that We've done Alien versus Predator. We've done versus Predators before. We've got to do something to make it special. I'll give him credit. Taking another IP so we can drag from two different edges of the cinematic universe.
Boy, do we love dragging.
That's like our stories, they drag on. Story, I'll give it a 9. Like Petey was saying, I believe it's conceptually you just need hero, villain, fight, see what happened. I think it'll be fine. Characters, I'll write a 7. It was a 6 until Titius came out.
And Derrick Henry.
I might make it an 8. Commercial appeal, I'll give it a 7. It knows its target demo, and we don't hit that target demo very often. So I think we can not waste a movie, but take a release date to get people in the theater that wouldn't come in.
In the business world, we call that trying a little something.
It do be. It's not a tentpole production, is what it is. I'd give it a 9. I like what Disney did with Prey. I thought it was good. Trailer, I'll give an 8. I believe the Photoshop work was very good, where it's necessary. Just a little editing details and give me a little more Predator. I didn't think there was enough.
Whoa!
I didn't think there was enough.
You want to more Predator? Do you think there's a knob that we can just turn up? Ooh, turn up the Predator.
Yes, turn down the Gladiator. Obviously, I know what happens to the editing
Turn
room.
down this too much. Wait, too much Gladiator for me, not the Predator.
You don't know about the Predator knob?
And for that reason, I'm out.
And I put how much. I think this money would make at least as much as the 3rd sequel from Disney's Prey will.
Yeah.
I don't know what that exact number is yet, but I believe it's exactly that amount.
I mean, I agree. I think we did good. I think we did okay. Hopefully we'll. Can't wait to see these movies.
Yeah. We got to get our intern working on those. It's
now. We're buying TikTok. We're buying Aliens, Predators.
Mr. Clean, Charmin.
We're up in the Predator purchase now.
Yeah.
Thanks to you. Not enough Predators.
One thing we haven't talked about.
Gladiator versus Predators.
Oh God, multi.
We're also getting Andre the Giant for this.
Yeah. Wow.
Or CGI Andre the Giant.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot he took off.
Well, I'm animated.
All right, I think.
You can do it.
Warming up.
I think we're ready to bring the written by guys back.
Yeah. Written boys. Come on, written boys.
Written by podcast.
Written guys.
Robert, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Chase, how you doing?
Doing well, but hopefully I'll be doing a lot better in a few moments.
All right. Well, there's congratulations, Rival Pitches. This was a phenomenal project to be a part of.
Thank you.
Coming in at 142 points, Chase Bridges.
Does that mean I won?
Well, let me announce
so
your
fast, my friend.
opponents.
We have one more.
Opponents.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Petey, you got this?
Yes. Coming in at 163, Robert Therrell, Sponge on the Job.
Robert, you are the winner of Rival Pitches.
Wow.
Here is your
Oh my God.
written by Rival Pitches.
Thank you so much. There's a whole
championship
belt.
Yeah. W on it stands for written by.
And this does mean Chase is kicked off the podcast now, right?
Is that?
You also have to kick him off a cliff, gladiator style.
I didn't think that was part of this.
Congratulations, Robert.
Thank you, judges. I can't wait to make a movie with y'all.
We can't wait either.
All right, let's do this.
Let's make all the money.
Let's do it.
Thank you so much for watching. We hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed making it.
And I enjoyed winning it.
Yeah, well, this has been Rival Pitches, our big finale episode. And if you liked this content and this is your first time seeing anything from us...
Oh, I'm sorry. I was too busy admiring my belt.
Yeah, whatever.
These are real diamonds.
Yeah. Well, it's from Target, so...
If this is your first time watching, we have 2 full seasons of this podcast. We do Rival Pitches every other week over here, and this big episode has just been a whole amalgamation of an entire season of us pitching ideas and our listeners voting on them. So if you aren't a part
I won just as many as he won, okay? So just because he won the big one, don't think I'm bad.
Yeah, check out our podcast, written by wherever podcasts are found.
And if you liked this, make sure you, of course, like the video. And you can subscribe because starting in season 3, our next season of the podcast, we're going to be releasing video versions of the podcast. So if you're a visual person instead of just an audio person, you can find all of those on this channel.
Yeah, make sure you're subbed to this channel. Also, we're at Written by Pod everywhere. Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. Just got verified on Twitter.
Yeah, we paid the $8, but it goes away after this month.
Yeah, I was wondering. I don't know if that's gonna still be around.
It won't. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah, see you next week. We got one more from the bowl episode.
Yeah, our Christmas episode.
Yeah, and then we just have a final best of episode that's gonna come out, and we have a really exciting announcement. 2 really exciting announcements at the end of that.
Oh yeah,
so,
about our short films, but we'll save it for the final episode of the season. Thank you guys for watching.
Yeah.